All right, you might be thinking, why is Fabian making a video in the living room? The answer is pretty simple. In this video, I'm going to go through some of the lessons I have learned, through my journey, in the hard way, in the easy way, but I would say most of them were in absolutely the hard way. And show maybe what I could have done better and what you can learn, based on my experience, because I truly believe there's a lot to take from anyone's journey. And as I said, especially from the lessons who are learned the hard way. But to answer my questions, why I'm making this video in the living room, 3 years ago, I used to be, I didn't even had my own room. Like, I was creating content on social media, making no money, and really was searching, to going from place to place to shoot content, because I didn't really had, a setup, my own studio room to work. I didn't even have a laptop. Like, I had an old HP. So, showing all the lessons I've learned through the journey, I wanted really to shoot this video in a simple place everyone can afford, and to basically give you this reminder that, look, everyone's a human in the end of the day. You don't really need a fancy setup to start creating content or to earn any significant amount of money. I've seen people, who just put their head on the wall, and they're making money with brand deals in the end of the day. So if you're probably thinking, I don't have, a proper place to shoot a video, here am I, proving, the absolute opposite to you. So I don't really like to cut the video like all these other creators and gurus do. Like, they cut the video every 2 seconds because they stutter, they don't know how to speak. I'm not saying I'm a professional English speaker. In fact, English is not my native language. It's my second language. I'm not a fluent English speaker. Like, I find it hard sometimes to find some words. So if you don't have a perfect way of speaking, and if you think that, you really need to be perfect before showing up to the camera, that's absolutely bullshit. When I firstly started to create any video, I think it was back in 2022, my voice used to be very low, a broken English, like a scared person was talking behind the videos. I was talking like a scared person. Why? Because confidence was missing. I was really upset. What others are going to think about me? So how you speak doesn't really matter. Putting yourself out there, getting those extra steps one by one is going to eventually help you. So this is where you should focus. So let's get back to the lessons. I mean, maybe I'm going to find it hard to remember each of them, but I'm going to go through some. So yeah. The first one, obviously, the most obvious one. I come from a poor family, so I never had the chance to buy anything for myself. I never had the chance, to like go in the shop and, get what I want, because I didn't really have any money. As I said, I had an old HP who I financed for $200. Like, I know it's crazy, but this is how hard my situation was. I didn't have my own room, I didn't even have my own house. Like, we had an old house, a big earthquake happened here in Albania, so we lost our house. And yeah, I didn't even had my own house. So that's the truth about me. So yeah, I don't want to go too much in details into that part. But I want to get into this lesson. So in early 2024, I started to make some serious money for the first time. Numbers I never thought I would ever achieve in my life. Like, I used to make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in a month. Something that if you asked me 1 year before that, I would say, look, this is not possible, because where I was coming from, that wasn't possible. But yeah, here we are today, and here we were back 2 years ago. Because the thing, that surprised me the most was the mindset. I didn't really understood the importance of mindset until, this day, that day came, because I used to think that I'm different, I'm better, I changed my whole mindset 1 year, 1 year before I started to make any money, you know, I, and eventually reality caught up. Like after 1 year of, thinking differently, acting differently, finally I started seeing some results financially. Like it took 1 year. I had changed in my mind 1 year before in early 2023, but it took 1 year for the results to show up in real life. So, I mean, I went too much in details, but the lesson is very simple. I started to spend almost every single dollar I was making. Like I used to spend 90% of my income going here, going there. My sister used to say me, look, Fabian, you are earning the money from the video. Let's make the videos, in a nicer place, in a better place. And I used to listen to her. I didn't have any financial education. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Spending $200 for a hotel night or going out, smoking shisha every day. Like I used to do that every day. Like I was spending money with no control. So I did the thing for quite a bit time, a lot of time. Like honestly, I'm a guy with money spending problems. I spend a lot of money, but now I'm obviously more managed as a person. But back then it was crazy. I was going almost broke, spending every penny I was making. So if I have to tell you something, I'm not saying to, be one of those morons to not spend any money. No, that's not at all. I don't want to be that type of person. And I don't want any one of you to be that type of person. The idea is to learn how to manage. Like once you start to make serious money, learn also how to manage that money. This is something you should do, and a mistake you should avoid: spending all of your money. You need to kind of manage, having fun, giving yourself experience, investing, saving. Somehow you need to learn how to manage your money. Something I obviously failed to do, especially in 2024. Another thing is networking. Yeah, the second lesson is networking. Another thing I neglected a lot, especially in the last 2 years, was networking. Something I'm truly committed this year. Look, you can go whenever you want to go alone. That's, fine. If you work hard, you can get to a point, but there are some doors that your hard work is never going to open. There are some doors that the only way you are going to get through those doors is through people, through different people. So once you start growing at a significant level, especially after you get to 5 to 10K a month, you need to start networking with people who at least have similar mindset to you. You need to stay away from people who do not, benefit you in any way, your vision. I'm not saying, look, because you make more money, ignore people who don't make any money. No, not at all. I'm saying ignore people who don't put any value in your life and focus the time on networking with new, ambitious people. I do have a course for networking. I can make another one if you want to learn how to network. But networking, as I said, is very important. And I'm recently understanding, the full meaning of networking, because I thought it was such a waste of time. Usually what is a waste of time is this events, networking events. You don't really get to know too many important people. If someone's really important, are they really in a networking event who everyone's attending, every average person? No. So you need to either find these people on social media, on expensive places, and network your way on the top. You network with similar people, then, higher than you, until, you have created this better circle, because with the time, you're going to see how your drive will eventually grow and opportunities will knock on your door. The third thing is mindset. I didn't really understood the part you need to change your mindset if you want to become successful. I bet you all have heard about this. Look, if you really want to be successful, you need to change your mindset, the way you think. And I was always skeptical. What does that even mean? The thing is very simple. You basically become successful on your mind first and then on reality. As I said, I changed my thoughts, the way I think, the confidence, everything, when it comes to me. Mindset about life, business, confidence, everything basically you can mention. And the result reflected 1 year later, because once you start changing your mindset, the way you think about certain things, that's where you start taking different action. You start, implementing, because you now truly believe in those principles. And once you start believing in those principles, eventually with the time, they reflect on who you are as a person. Like, I used to have this one friend. I don't want to mention his name. Like, he used to think about himself that, look, I'm the best. And I was like, okay, I know who you are, and I know you're just pretending. I know you're pretending to be someone you're not. But with the time, I used to always see his confidence, his words would say the same thing, even though he was lying. But with the time, he really started to become someone better. What he was saying suddenly started to become reality. And it was like, look, this guy who was basically talking trash, saying that he's the best, all this confidence, all this trash lies he's saying, now they are becoming his reality. He started to make more money. He started, to be that guy, he was pretending to be. And mindset is very important. The way you think about yourself is absolutely important, because what most people don't tell you about mindset is this: you need to believe you're the best. Even if you're not the best, even if you are the most trashy person, you need to believe you're the best. It doesn't matter if you're a guy, a girl, or whatever. You need to absolutely believe you are the best and you can achieve anything. I need you to be selfish when it comes to yourself. Like, I'm the best, and I'm going to achieve certain things and do certain actions until, that reality comes in life. So this is how you change, the way you think, your confidence, your action, and with the time, they are going to reflect, in your life. Number 4, confidence is the key. I mean, obviously you are going to see again, look, Fabian, we already heard about that. We already know that confidence. We already heard that, you need to be confident, but what does that even mean in the end of the day? It's very simple. Money, power, females, everything you can mention is attracted to confidence. No man, no person is going to give you their money if they don't see a confident person behind the camera, behind what he's doing. You absolutely need to be confident about who you are, need to be confident about your business, because that's going to give you power. The way you talk, the way you act, those are things that are going to boost your confidence, because confidence is probably the most attractive thing you can own as a person. And once you start to become more confident, you're going to see more opportunities thrown at you, more money, coming at you, because as I said, money, power, and women are attracted only on confidence, only on certainty. And this is something you cannot really fake. You develop with the time. You start, like my friend was acting, for example, that's the way. And you really become, that person one day. Or you get the confidence, by trying, by learning more, and you become that person eventually. Lesson 5. This is not actually something I fucked up really hard. This is, something I learned with the time, but I think I kind of executed it well. Back in 2023, I moved out from my house in the village and came here in a city where I'm living now, capital city of Albania. It's Tirana, and came to live alone. I have no job, no income, and I had my last $400 in my name. My dad used to say, look, find a job, do this, do not leave, do not leave. But I didn't really listen to them. I just left. They weren't really happy too much back then, but I knew that, that place is not going to help me grow in the long term. I need a place where I meet more people like me, where I see more about world, understand more about world, and develop a better version of myself. And obviously that was not in a village, in a small place. I needed a bigger place, to grow. So environment is probably the key to your growth. So if you're someone who's really, far from opportunities, is living, let's say in an environment where he doesn't really or she doesn't really find her or his peace, I'd suggest to leave that place, move out from your hometown, move out from your village or from your city or even from your house if you want, more clarity and want to get yourself out of the comfort zone. Because moving to a new place does two things. One, moves you from your comfort zone, so you'll be uncomfortable and you're going to take different actions, and in most cases you're going to become a better person. And secondly, you have more clarity. You are in a place now where you have more opportunities around you, from if you're looking for a job, you cannot really find, let's say, a job in a lost place. You need to go where your job is, and let's say in city where the most jobs are. So definitely moving from your hometown is going to evolve you, is going to help you grow, and it's going to give you that peace in yourself, especially if you're living alone. And it's going to give you clarity. It's going to eventually give you clarity on what you're going to do with your life. Because once a person is unstoppable, he's going to do way more actions than when he is not comfortable. And a person is comfortable on his house, and there's this, I think it comes from sales. Action or change mostly comes from people who are trying to escape from pain, not the pleasure of gain. So in this case, when you live alone, when you get to a new place, you're going to be more uncomfortable. You're going to be more in pain as a person. So you are going to force yourself to grow, or you are going to fail. You have two choices. But in the house, you either, achieve something, or, you stay comfortable because you have a house. In the end of the day, you have food on your table and you're going to stay comfortable like that. I mean, I don't really want to make this video longer. This was basically it. I mean, there are a lot, to share from my personal journey. If you want to learn more or get to know me more, with such videos, let me know in the comment. I would be happy, to make new videos like this, direct on camera with no filters and showing, my only truth when it comes to social media. Because honestly, just talking, these lessons and getting back in time, when I used to be someone different, somehow makes me emotional. So I really love making these videos, and yeah, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.